Om Shanti and welcome back to Light of Knowledge. We have a very special guest with us in our Godlywood studio today, Brother Michael from Paris. He came into knowledge of Brahma Kumaris while in UK and has been responsible for opening the first center in Paris. Brother Michael, for the past 15 years, has been the main coordinator in Serbia. We're going to have a series of interesting conversations with him. So let us all welcome him to Godlywood Studio. Brother Michael, we're pleased to have you with us on Light of Knowledge and also in the studio.
It's my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. Today we're going to start our series by going into a very important topic, victimization and taking ownership and the inner journey that can take you from being a victim to the ownership part. So, for the sake of our viewers, can we start with the definition? When you say I'm a victim in any situation, what is it exactly that we're referring to?
Yeah, well, I guess, in this word victim, there is the situation when the person is impacting very badly by the situation or by a person, and it doesn't connect with his own reality.
Okay.
So he doesn't know why this is happening to me and why I feel so bad about it.
Right.
So then he doesn't have some means to relate, because when you can relate, you can take to be in charge a little bit,
Right.
But if you don't relate, you say, I'm the poor innocent guys, and the sky is falling on my head, and why me? Why me?
Correct.
That's usually, you can say a victim is always say, why me?
Right. But if you go into the depth of it, things really, do they happen negatively in that person's life, or in some ways he or she is bringing it on?
Well, obviously, if you put it that way, and I will say I can bring it the spiritual context,
Okay.
which means, I don't know for our auditor, but obviously the past births, the past karma, which has been an accumulation of lack of understanding, lack of wisdom to deal with situation. And we know, anyway, life is tough.
Yeah.
There is nothing easy in life,
Yes.
and you need a level of inner power and wisdom, to go beyond, the situation or to deal with the situation. So obviously if you start to do wrong and keep on doing wrong, even that, by doing wrong and wrong, it's clouding your mind in some way.
Okay.
Already that.
Okay.
Which means you don't have no more the clarity to see the situation in the proper angle.
Okay.
So already that is an hindrance for the person to relate to the new situation.
Right. Sometimes though, Brother Michael, it does happen that in spite of our best efforts, no matter how hard we try, we keep running into the same situation over and over and over. And then we complain, the poor me, victim me. But truly we try not to get into that kind of situation. So what would be, the reason for that?
Okay, first of all, anyway, we know that a human being is a being of positive energy, a consciousness. So obviously, we don't start our journey of life by being a victim. We try everything our best, according to our capacity and talent and knowledge, and okay, if you have success, it's all fine and you keep on. And but if you fail and you have opposition and obstacles, and you start to struggle, in one way or the others, And anyway, human being always try to find solution, first of all, obviously.
Right.
And I think it's when you reach the point when you have tried all possible way, but there is always something coming to your way which says that's not for you, you are a failure, you will suffer, and you take the suffering from the situation, And I think you reach a point where you're fed up, you're exhausted, you have no more willpower, you don't have any more possibility. I mean, you have a prisms of all possibility which are moving away from you, you know. And based on that, at that time, you know, when you think that I use all my possibility, my positive energy, my wisdom, my determination, my hope, my tolerance, my patience, and my gentleness, my humility, and still not working, you know. And at some point you may lose your courage. This is the point. When you reach the point where you lose your courage, and when you lose your courage, you come to a point of hopelessness.
Okay.
And when you reach that point of hopelessness, which means I can do nothing anymore.
Okay.
You know, with myself, by myself.
Right.
So then, and if I feel bad about it, then I will start to play the part of the victim. You know.
Okay. So here, the hope and courage goes hand in hand. Losing hope and courage can bring about the victimization feeling in a person. That's right. Is that correct?
Well, courage, you know, it's such a quality in life, you know. I mean, in the history of, you know, the world, you know, those who have been courageous have achieved so much, you know, that which was impossible to think to do it, you know, and when you don't have any courage, you just stay at home and you don't move, you know.
Right,
So
right.
big difference, you know.
Right.
And if you don't, and if you lose your courage and you have a trouble and obstacle in front of you, it means the obstacles will makes you fall down completely.
Okay.
You know. And when you fall down, then you lose hope.
Right. That's very well said. I was also wondering, what role does a family, in the sense of parents? In India, you have your extended family as well. So what role do parents and the extended family play in the life of a child in maybe developing his or her self-esteem, so they don't feel, growing up, they don't feel victimized, or they don't feel that they didn't get the best of the society?
Yeah, obviously, the attitude of the parents. We know that from 0 to 7 years old, you know, is the time when the brain of the child is developing.
Okay.
So, and at that time, we know that it's that person need a lot of love.
Attention.
Yeah, attention
Yes.
and love and care, you know.
Yes.
And so the brain can develop normally. And usually, it's what is, I mean, the little I know on psychology, you know, because I'm more on the spiritual field, is that when you have a normal developed
Childhood.
brain in childhood, you can cope quite a lot, and you will know what is right, and already what is right and what is wrong. You can make the difference in between both of it.
Okay.
But when you have been abused, when you didn't receive the love, the attention, you know, your brain is not so developed, and the clarity again between right and wrong is not so present.
Okay.
So then is more or less the same. There is no so much difference.
Okay.
So you can go in one side to the other side, you know, and without understanding the consequence of your attitude and action. So obviously that will create a lot of trouble for the person. And usually those who didn't receive also that love, you know, they already have recording in their own information, you know, that I will fail already, you know. So there is already that seed, you know, of I will fail, because, you know, you have something very interesting in the human being. Thought is connected with feeling, and feeling is connected with thought. Whatever you think give you a feeling.
Right.
Whatever you feel, it will create a thought about it.
Okay.
So if you feel bad about yourself,
Right.
you will think wrong about you. And then obviously, you will do wrong for your life.
Right. Right.
You know, so it's already starting the process.
Right.
Unless obviously by chance you meet some good friend, good teacher, because life has its own magic, obviously, and we have to believe in the magic of life,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
But yes, otherwise, you know, it will remain on this track of I'm a failure, you know.
Right. So parents play a very important role in the life of a child, obviously, and to ensure that he or she grows up to be a well-rounded individual, as opposed to having that victimized feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually, you know, I like to observe parents with their child, you know, and usually most of the time they try to do the best for their child, you know.
That's true.
Because And also there is for me a simple reason when I observe is because the parents know that that child one day will be an adult and they will have a relationship with that adult. And so better to have a good relationship with an adult than a bad relationship.
That's very true. And it's very important what you said, that a parent always has good wishes and good thoughts and good feelings for the child. So they are also doing their best to, bring the child up in ways that they know how. But like you mentioned earlier, a lot of factors play a role, like the karmic account and, the sanskaras and all of that.
Yeah, I want to comment a little bit about that, because obviously, when the child, the soul, take birth in a family, it take birth according to his past, So if his past was already a bit heavy and difficult and troubling, obviously where that soul will reincarnate will not be the best context and situation, best family,
Okay.
So he will find back some things that he did in his past, So it means that the parents themselves will not be in the best condition as well, to take care of the child.
That's right.
If simple example, if someone take birth, in a family where they are poor, they have to work hard and everything is difficult, and so they are very exhausted and tired, and they are not so much educating, and they want to, for relaxation, listening the radio and the television, and not to give so much time to the child because they don't even know what to do,
Right.
because a child is a living conscious matter.
Right.
So it needs a lot of wisdom to deal with that.
Yes.
More than to take care of a plant or, plant I don't know so much, but I know that if I put at least some bit of water every morning and a bit of light, it should be okay,
Right.
I don't need so much knowledge.
Right.
But imagine a child, a soul with all possibility of personality, need, desires, and weakness and trouble.
Yes.
And things like that, So you need to take the time to observe. And usually the mom are so good,
Right.
The good mom, obviously, so good to observe. And they develop the wisdom just by having a child and knowing the child and how to respond to the child.
Right.
But when you are very tired, exhausted, and you prefer to relax with the TV, then if the child cries, say shut up.
Yeah.
You can imagine what can be the future of the child,
Exactly.
or what's the impact and impression he has from his childhood.
Right.
And he will usually we just repeat, what we get from our childhood.
That's true, because a lot of times we see that in families where the child, especially the son, takes on his father's behavior and it kind of repeats itself in the family. That's very true. I was wondering, are there any levels to victimization, or is there like this victim me feeling? Is that the same across the board, or can we see different levels in it?
Well, I'm sure according to the intensity of the trouble, you will have a different level. And also according to the personality, because, some people are very susceptible. You understand? Okay, susceptible.
Yes.
So, they may not expect so much from the outside world, but they may expect little thing. And even if that little thing is not there, they can become crazy. Again, according to the past life, past karma, a person can be so weak that a little thing can really impact so badly that person. And another one, you can say a soul which comes from normal good karma or not so bad karma, and still because life has been tough, like a wave of being disturbing. And usually one of the things that we can see in our modern society is psychological harassment in company.
Psychological harassment in the company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which means, for example, you are a worker of a company and you have your own personality. The chief has his own personality. He may have some ego maybe, and the worker as well, And if for maybe the chief wants always to have something more for the worker.
Right.
The worker can give as much as possible, but at some point he may not, and at some point it can be a clash of ego. So then we move to another type of relationship, where the boss or the chief use his position to harass psychologically.
Okay.
For example, I know a case by reading, that someone very efficient in job, very active and doing so many things, and because of not having good relationship with the boss put him in the last office when there is nothing to do.
Oh.
And then that person will become depressed after some times.
Right. So these kind of things do happen at a workplace.
No, for example, I come from France, which I know a little bit. So no, it's we can prove in the level of law that before it was impossible to prove the harassment, psychological harassment. No, it has been a kind of aspect of law, which before it didn't exist.
Right.
So we pass a new step,
Okay. Is that a hopeless case when a person is a victim of any situation? Is there a possibility to bring him to the other side? And by that, I mean, maybe they can take ownership for their actions. Maybe they can tell themselves that, after all, maybe it was something I did or I said that brought this upon me, and stop blaming the other person. Is there a way we can instill this kind of thought in a victim?
Yeah. In fact, the thing is, I will take the analogy with people which get a very bad accident.
Okay.
And they become disabled after the accident.
Right.
So usually you have a full process for recovering.
Okay.
First, there is the denial.
Yes.
No, it's not possible, it's not me, I'm okay, okay. Then there is the rejection,
Right.
Oh, it's possible, very negative about all of that, And then there is the fatalism, it's like that, it's terrible, And then it's the reality. That's my new reality. And you have to reach a point of acceptance,
Okay.
But obviously, this point of acceptance comes after the point of tolerance.
Okay.
You have to tolerate. Tolerance for me is a point where you stop to be affected and to think in the wrong way to what's coming to you, what has come to you.
Okay.
It means it doesn't disturb you so much,
Okay.
or much less at least, And when you reach the point of tolerance, you reach the point of acceptation. Okay, no, it's fine, and no, it's with that situation that I will deal my new life, because obviously, if I'm disabled, it means it's something totally different,
Right.
and I will find a new way.
Right.
So, and then comes the aspect of I have to learn something new, so to be ready to learn something new,
Right.
and to adapt yourself to something new, and to get use of something new, and to be happy, so you with all of that, and to
Right.
think that that's okay for me, this is my new life with all my new achievement. It's fine,
Yeah.
You have some people, which were very strong physically, and because of the accident they cut their legs, and still, after recovering, they become great artists or hard worker people, and they can do everything in their home, So, yeah, so everything's that's the beauty of the soul, and life. Life and soul allow us to adapt to everything and to reach anything, but obviously depends on the role of the person, depends on the will, and yes, the will and wish, we have to really work on the will and wish.
Right. It almost sounds like we have to come out of the blame game first. We have to stop blaming the other party or the other person in this scenario of the accident. That once we stop blaming that he or she was responsible, then maybe the healing can start and we can come out of this victim process.
Yeah, the thing is, blaming and complaining means in a very clear way. It means it's because of you
Yes.
that I'm like that.
Yes.
It's because of you I don't have this and that.
Yes.
Look at, he has everything, but because you give them and you don't give me, means I'm in the middle and I'm not the actor of my life, I'm the passive actor, and I expect that life is there to offer me. But behind this, there is the ego. The ego, it means me, they don't recognize me, I'm great. Yes, because it's it's a natural factor for the human being when they don't know themselves to have a recognition from society and other people. When I know myself, I don't need recognition. I just keep on my life, my action, because whatever I do, I know it's right, it's good for me, I take benefit from that, and I'm happy with that. So I don't need the recognition of the other to acknowledge my achievement and happiness. But for those people who don't know themselves, they need that. And we live in the society, materialism society, as we know in our knowledge, we say body conscious, age, where obviously you don't know yourself. So obviously you need recognition, and when the recognition is not coming, then you feel bad, and then you start to blame and complaining because you think it's always because of the others.
Right. Brother Michael, we are having such a wonderful conversation here, but we would definitely like to continue this in our next episode. So we would like for you to come back with us and chat with us again in our next episode.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and all my life is, since 20 years I'm deliver speech, in 4 continents, and anyway, there's invitation, to speak about spiritual topic and topic which can create more light and clarity for anyone. That's my pleasure to speak. So thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Brother Michael told us today about how we can come out of this victim feeling. And he also told us what could be the cause, such as maybe the karmic account. And he also talked about the role that the family plays in encouraging the child so that he does not grow up with this victim me feeling. With these words, we'd like to conclude this episode, and we will continue this discussion in the next episode. So keep watching us. Until then, take care and Om Shanti.